Shalom Chaverim, I'm Stephen Ben-Nun. You're watching Israeli News Live, and according to our source that we have in Israel, we were given the information we shared with you this morning that things are going to get, it's going to hit the fan inside of Syria as the Syrian military is now having to defend itself against Israel. Israel, of course, claiming that they are targeting the Iranian military bases in western Syria, but according to the Reuters news agency that is bringing out this information right now, is that, and they're quoting Mayadeen News right here, is that the Damascus says Israeli planes target military positions in Syria. This is actually closer to Hama, and of course, anyone that knows anything about the demographics of the area there, let me pull this up for you here real quick, because I'm actually preparing a message for the New Institute right now. I have like 9 Bibles out, been doing research all day. In fact, since this morning, since our broadcast this morning, and I just have not, I just wanted to check quickly to see if there was anything else breaking before getting ready to record for the New Institute, looking at Daniel chapter 9. I'd gotten a question from one of our listeners about Daniel chapter 9, and they were asking me about a video. They shared a video with us in the comments sent to us by the moderators there, and wanted to know if a particular man was correct on his assessment. It was actually this guy right here, Dr. Al-Ghazara, Jews for Yeshua, and so I'm going to be addressing that. Nothing against this man and his opinions. I appreciate his insights as well. But then we saw this news breaking here, and of course, very, very serious situation here. And well, we're not going to Babylon, Czech Republic, although there is a Babylon in Czech Republic. We need to go to Syria. But the situation here is Hama, and Hama is just south of Idlib. Now, that lets us know that Israel is trying to hamper the operation of the Syrian government in retaking Idlib. And they may be saying that they're targeting Iranian air bases or Iranian facilities, different bases that are inside of Syria, and there may be some truth to that. I don't say that Israel is just manufacturing what they're saying about what's going on here, but the issue is that we knew that this was going to turn very bad, in a very bad situation for the Syrian government, even with Israel. And of course, you have to remember, according to prophecy of Isaiah 17, it is Israel that Isaiah says is responsible for the demise of Damascus. So we're only seeing the beginning of this, and of course it's not just Israel, the state of Israel, but all of Israel, all 12 tribes, because it says they have forgotten the God of their salvation. And it also goes on and says they're not mindful of the rock of their salvation. And of course, that being those that are believers of Yeshua, which is pretty obvious, because if you think about it, it's the very evangelicals and many of those that are supporting Israel without wisdom that are blindly leading the people into a war contrary to the Word of God, thinking this is the right thing to do. And this is what's really, really, really troubling. And in fact, when we go into our message about Daniel chapter 9, I think it might make it a little bit more clear exactly what would happen in this day that you're living in now, and how evil it is, and of course how religious this war would be, that would bring down the demise of all the nations. You know, the Mashiach, the Yeshua himself, is going to bring peace, not destruction. Very troubling indeed. But anyway, so that is our news that we're seeing breaking right now. Another report also on Arutz Shiva. I'm sorry, this is back in 2014. That doesn't even matter. I don't know why they even posted that today. It's talking about the United States indirectly supporting Hezbollah, sending weapons in there that Hezbollah is getting a hold of. Oh, that's true. I wouldn't doubt that a bit. Just like a lot of other things that goes on. Just real quick, we'll see if we have any other issues that are going on right now, any other information about this. The Syrian government, their anti-air missile defense shield was able to knock down quite a few of the missiles that were coming in by Israel, but unfortunately not all of the missiles were shot down. And again, to me, the Syrian government has a right to defend their territory. They have a right to liberate their citizens that are being held captive by these thugs that are over in Idlib. And unfortunately, of course, Israel can use the justification that that they're wanting to knock out Iran inside of Syria as their pretext to go after the Iranian targets. But at the same time, well, if you get a few Syrian targets as a result of that, it'll only help the Al-Qaeda group that you've been supporting all along. And yes, Israel's IDF has come out today and said that they had been giving money and weapons to the Al-Qaeda, al-Nusra militants there that are on their border in the Golan. That's troubling. Very troubling that we would support terrorists, knowing that these very terrorists despise the Israeli people to begin with, and they would also love to see the overthrow of the nation. Very troubling. How do you expect to arm your enemy and think that that's going to be a blessing? So, anyway, so we're still waiting to see what other information is coming out here. Let me see. They got an article in Haaretz. I don't know if this is a recent article. Syria, Israel coordinated attack with Islamic militants giving air support to Nusra assault on Quneitra. 2 killed in Israeli airstrikes on the Syrian army in the Golan Heights there. Again, as we're seeing, there are reports coming out showing that it is actually the Syrian military that's being targeted in these strikes here, and not just that of the Iranian groups there. It says here, though, of course, on Haaretz, Israel strikes Iranian Assad regime targets in Syria, and I'm sure we're going to see more and more of that. And again, it's kind of odd, the timing, if you think about it. Why go after Iran when Syria is only trying to liberate Idlib? Wait till you see the U.S. and France and Britain get involved. Then we'll see exactly what happens. Russia will stand down as long as it's Israel. But when it goes to be the United States, Britain, and France, maybe a different story. Very troubling indeed, friends. I'm Steve Ben-Nun. You're watching Israeli News Live. Don't forget to check out later today the Noon Institute. I'm getting ready to go into this subject on Daniel's 70th week. I think it'll be a blessing to many of you that decide to tune in over there. Shalom, shalom, in a world of ain't shalom.